Over the last few years, I have talked to many deep connectors. There's a couple of them in here in this Facebook group where I'm recording this right now, but I'm also going to be posting that in my Mighty Networks community where there is a few more. And I'm also going to be sending this to my email list where there's over 1,000 people who have indicated that they facilitate deep connections. So let's first of all talk about who are deep connectors and what are the top 2 problems that they're facing right now. And first of all, tip, if you're a facilitator and you buy Post-its, don't buy the cheap dollar store stuff, because I had to use actual tape to make sure that this Post-it doesn't fall off during this video. So side note, invest in high quality tools. All right, so who is a deep connector in the first place? To me, a deep connector is anyone who leads group experiences, if that is offline, if that is online, and really focuses and values on the connections being made between the participants. Because in my opinion and experience and many other people's experience, once your participants, your audience is connected to each other before you even get to the content, then anything that you do will be more transformational, more memorable, and more effective. So I truly believe that. So let's have a look at what are some of the top challenges deep connectors are facing these days. The first one is the one that I figured out based on the conversations I've had in the last year with a lot of people. I had over 60 people fill out a survey when I launched my virtual facilitator training last summer, and now over, I think, 150 people have gone through my virtual facilitator trainings. I'm just wrapping up cohort 4. If you're watching this and you're part of cohort 4, give me a hello in the comments. If you're one of the other cohorts, give me a hello as well. But I've actually figured out that this was one of the biggest challenges after I taught everyone how to create these meaningful experiences online. The biggest challenge was, well, I don't know how to grow a business facilitating connections, facilitating these meaningful experiences for people. And after a while, you start to burn out. And that was true for myself as well. When you believe in the bigger mission of wanting to create connections, make the world a better place, really create an impact, you often do the work not because you want to get paid for it, but because you feel like this is your purpose. You're meant to do this type of work. So anytime when it comes to asking for money, when it comes to selling your services, that is a big challenge. You don't really ask for enough, and sometimes you do work for free, and the more you do work for free or a very low pay where you have to sacrifice other things, then you feel like, oh, I'm still doing this. This is so tiring, and therefore you stop, you quit. And I don't want you to quit, because you have a really important purpose in this world, and we need to create more connected communities around the world. So when you're growing your business, the one challenge that comes with it, which is one of the reasons why a lot of facilitators, educators, community builders don't charge enough, is because we have the imposter syndrome. We think, who am I to teach something? I don't know much. I'm still a student myself. And coming from a lifelong student, I just took my own facilitator training to learn more, although I've been training other facilitators for the last year. So it's an ongoing journey. And the one message that I want to share with you, if you ever felt imposter syndrome, I want you to think of how many love songs do you know right now? How many songs do you know that have been written about love? Maybe type some in the comments, like what's a song that you know that talks about this thing that we humans experience called love. And now think of how many new love songs come out every single year by all kinds of different artists. Some artists, they write a lot of songs about love. Almost every song is about love. And other artists, they're like, have at least one song that touches on the subject. I feel like almost every musician should have a love song, right? So although there's so many voices out there already, it doesn't mean that we don't need another love song. Every musician, every singer, songwriter has a new perspective where we're learning something new, speaking to a different audience and getting them to feel something. And I believe that if you're a deep connector, if you're doing this work, you want people to experience something, you want them to feel something. That's the real way how we can make an impact in this world. So number one problem is burning out because you're not really growing your business. You have imposter syndrome, you don't know what to charge. And number two, the second biggest problem is, come on camera, focus. You are doing it alone. Yes, I'm in that camp myself. I was for many years because I created these events, in-person events. I created my Ask Deep Questions cards because I wanted to have more meaningful conversations. I wanted to feel more connected to people. But when you're the facilitator, when you're creating the experience, you're always wearing your facilitator hat. You can't really be fully immersed in a conversation because you're trying to keep track of time, making sure that you are aware of the other groups and making sure that everybody feels okay and they're not being pushed too much outside of their comfort zone, so they might want to leave the event. So it's really challenging if you're facilitating but you also want to be a participant. And if you've been doing anything virtual, you might have experienced this, where you have this amazing activity, this amazing conversation starter, and you send people to the breakout room, and then you sit there in the main room all by yourself. And you're like, wow, I would love to have someone that I could share this answer with, but that's not your role. Your role is there to facilitate, and you need to be ready to welcome everyone back and continue with the workshop, with the experience. So I believe that not only is feeling connected especially important for anybody who's building community, who's facilitating connections, not just for our mental health, but also for to solve problem number one, to grow our business of facilitating connections. And that's really where the collective comes in. And I was scribbling on my iPad. I posted this image earlier, and then my iPad lost battery. So let me see if I can pull this up really quickly here. I created what I call the Deep Connectors Path. Here we go. Let me make sure that you can still see me. Hello, here I am. Let me put myself in a circle and put myself somewhere in the corner so I'm not covering so much. Here we go. This way you should be able to see this path that I created. Let's zoom in a bit. There we go. This almost looks like I planned it, right? So this is the path that I created that really helps anyone who's facilitating connections, who's building a community, who's running workshops in person or online, to make sure that you're doing it with your audience. You're not creating something that nobody needs. You're going to get paid for it, and you create a scalable business out of it. So the 4 stages that I literally just named this morning. So this is still a work in progress. I have a lot of the content already ready. Just naming the stages took the longest time for me. So the 4 stages right now are called the connector stage. And this is where you want to get really, really clear on who your audience is and what problems are you solving for them. Also, what are the things that they think they need, rather than the real underlying problem that you know that they need help with. So this is where you validate your idea, you validate your messaging, so you make sure that you actually create something that is valuable and needed. Stage 2 is the catalyst, and at this stage it's all about creating a mini experience, because it's really it's not very tangible, the work that we do. Often I compare it to going to summer camp, and when I came back from summer camp as a kid, my parents would ask me, hey, so how was it? Did you have fun? And I said, yeah, it was great. It was life-changing. Tell me more. I don't know, you weren't there. It's hard to explain. It's kind of the same thing with a lot of the experiences that we create. It's hard to explain in words. So the best way I have found to get someone from being interested in working with you to becoming a client is by taking them through this mini experience. And this could be a one-off workshop, this could be a one-on-one conversation, depending on your business model and what you're selling. And this really helps you build trust, build credibility, build these relationships, which will be so crucial for step number 3, which is the change maker phase. And this is where your biggest core offer comes into play. This is how you're creating the biggest transformations for people. So if you're running a leadership training, this might be your leadership training. If you have a membership, this might be your membership. If you're doing a retreat, this might be the retreat. Like, this is the thing that is the most impactful, the most transformational for the people that you work with. And rather than building that in secret with not telling everyone for a year, which I'm guilty of creating an online course for a year that we didn't talk about very much in a previous business, you're going to co-create it with your audience. And this is what I did with my virtual facilitator training and why I had it sold out the first time I ran it. And I had people pay money before I even created more than just the outline. So this will be the most impactful thing for your audience. And then step 4 is the part that I'm the most excited about, which is all about building community, not just connecting the participants that have already had this great experience with you at your workshops, at your events, but also in a way where they feel like, where they become super fans, where they follow everything that you do, where they sign up for every new workshop that you're going to put out because they're just so hungry to get more. And those are the people you really want to nurture and then inspire them, motivate them to send you more referrals so you can get more people through your first experience to your big transformational experiences and grow your business. And I think once you automate this, this will become the part that is the most exciting in my mind. So let me take this down again. This is what I'm building in the collective, is helping you, anyone who is valuing deep connections, to build your business and also to not feel alone. Because while you're building this business, you're going to do lots of things that you've never done before, things that are challenging, things that you might want to have an extra set of eyes or support or advice on. And that's where the community becomes really handy. One thing that we do in the community is every time you host an event or workshop, you get to do a debrief in the community and share what are the things that worked, what are the things that you want to improve next time, and get a different perspective. Because sometimes, it was often in the beginning, I would finish a workshop, finish an experience, or maybe even speak on stage and come off and feel like, oh my God, this was horrible. I let everyone down. I forgot this, I forgot that. It was a total waste of time. I think they didn't take anything away from it. And then usually the first place that I go is my community. Let me share this kind of first experience, emotions that came up. And then everybody says, have you talked to somebody in the audience? Like, did they actually think it was that bad? And I would talk to people and they would tell me, oh my God, this was the best thing, the best session today. And I took so much away from it. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I would check social media and people share these, what I call love notes. And I realized, oh my God, I'm actually creating an impact here. And going back to the imposter syndrome, if you've ever felt that you weren't motivated, that you lost energy to do the things that you're doing, that's probably why, because you weren't keeping track of the amazing messages that people send to you that you did have an impact on. And in the beginning, this will be a handful of people. And the more your business grows, the more your reach and your impact grows, the more you will get emails and tags on social media and people reaching out to you one-on-one and sharing how much of an impact you've had on them. And my goal is, with the collective, that we'll be tracking those love notes. Like, you want to make sure that you get a certain number of love notes, I don't know, every month. We'll do a little bit of an experiment, a little bit of research to see how many do we get per month, and can we put that as a goal? Like, can that be the goal rather than tracking how much money you've made in business? How many love notes did you get this month? Because that is what inspires me, is that impact. But that impact translates into income, because the more income you make, the more people you reach, the more your impact is. And So I've been talking already for almost 15 minutes. There is more that I want to share, but I will create a separate video for that, really making sure that you know this is the right fit for you. If you do have any questions, you're welcome to comment below. Send me an email, send me a message. I'd be happy to chat. And if you think that this is a good fit, I'm going to also share a link below where you can fill out a short application form. And this will give me a sense if it's a good fit for you, because right now the collective has 14 members. It's only been open to anyone who's completed my virtual facilitator training. And for this week, until Thursday, I'm going to open up the door for a few spots in that membership. It's a paid membership. There is some special pricing if you join this week, because it's still not 100% built yet. So if you want to take advantage on that, fill out the application and then I'll be in touch. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, if you've been watching this, if you're still watching, thank you for your time. Let me know in the comments below what resonated, what questions you have, and we will chat soon. Take care.